Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, it's a big day. We got Brock back. We got the Wordle again. We got predictions. We're finally going to get Brock's thoughts on like the roster changes for Major Three because he's back from vacation. If you guys enjoy this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. Brock, you're back. How was the trip?
We're back, went to Japan for just a little under 2 weeks. It definitely was a fun time there. Definitely a fun experience there.
Yeah, I believe it.
And
At some point, I'm gonna get there. My girlfriend speaks Japanese, and she taught over there, so at some point, I'm definitely gonna get over there.
yeah, definitely cool. Food was bomb. Most stuff I had.
I feel like
Just,
every time, like, anybody leaves the US, they're just like, "The food is so good wherever they went."
yeah,
I think they
convenience
just do it
stores
better than
food
us.
was even like super good, which usually gas station food here is like not that good, really.
Yeah, it's like you're just like, get it because it's the only thing here.
Yeah.
You're like, it's, like, edible, it's the only thing I can get," but you'll get it because like, it's, like, good enough.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
that
fun, stuck out like a sore thumb because I'm like the only white person I swear there ever.
yeah, everybody just staring you down.
Yeah, but
That's funny.
but yeah, all in all, it was fun. Now we're back and getting ready to talk some more Call of Duty and stuff.
All right. Just kick it off. Bro, I got an honor view, I guess, TJ first last week. Where are we going this week?
Ooh, where we going for the Wordle?
TJ did not help me last week. I'll be honest. I also just kind of bought it out. I like forgot that Spain was a country.
I think we should go with let's go with skies.
All right. Which to you, for the first time, is a new optic member really on the pod. Actually, no, you talked about him a little bit. Okay,
hmm
so I mean, this is a pretty limited amount of people based on the Skies guess because he's younger than Skies from the US, has more than 7 wins and more than one ring, but hasn't teamed with Skies. So my immediate thought
Oh,
was shottzyy because he's young with a lot of wins and rings, but actually shottzyy is now teammates with him. So I mean, it's pretty limited amount of players. The United States players with 2 rings, like
Simp,
it's pretty limited options. Yeah,
Simp,
I,
BZ.
is Simp younger than 25 though? I'll guess him. Oh,
I
there
think
you
he's
go.
younger than 25.
Well, that's our answer. So
Simpy.
interesting. I actually didn't know that he was only 24. I feel like, I mean, he like always feels young, but I guess I mean he's been around since BO4, so I just thought he was like a little older. But I guess he did like he turned 18 in the middle of that game. So
Yeah.
20 whatever that was, 2018 slash 2019. I guess yeah, that makes sense. 24. It's about 6 years ago.
hmm
I guess we'll let it slide. I guess that checks out. Um, all right, Brock. I'm pulling up the power rankings window. This is the updated one. It looks way different than it did. Probably just I mean, the last time I had this window up, I was just when you were gone, I was ranking, the roster changes that were made
Yep.
going into Major 3. I wasn't, like I didn't do a new power ranking because like, it's impossible to power rank, like, "Okay, this is the roster we haven't seen play yet. Let's rank how they are." Um, but I don't know. This is where we're at. I mean, we're not gonna go too in depth with why we put teams where they are because once again, like, for what is it, 5 of these teams, we've only seen them play a match, maybe 2.
Yep.
Like, obviously, Optic is probably the biggest mover in here. Cloud9 fell pretty far. Minnesota went up pretty far. I mean, they were like bottom 3, I think, before. Carolina fell a little bit, but I mean, we'll go and we'll talk about each team, and then like as we get to a team with a new roster that you haven't talked about at least yet, we'll talk about it. So, Brock, let's start. They're still in last, but they're better. The Falcons, and I mean, you haven't been able to talk about them at all, but they got your boy.
They did. They got RCDs.
Which after one series was looking like a rough pickup, I'll be honest. And then he did pick it up. I mean, in the map one of the Miami series when they lost in a game 5, he went 36 and 23, and he was shooting way more damage than anybody in the lobby, like a
Yeah.
thousand more.
hmm And Falcons got their first hardpoint wins on the in that series too.
Yeah, two of them,
hmm
not
They
just
got
one. Two.
two.
They're 2 and 28 now.
Yep. They climbed back from that horrible record they started out with, but I wish the original team would have got a hard point win rather than basically
I
three
know
new players.
the streak feels fake now because it's like they didn't like that. Like I mean, we all expected they have Arcitys, they have Priesta, they have Pred, and Exit. Like I not like I expected this team to just like come out and dominate hardpoint, but I mean they have Pred, Priesta, and Arcitys. Even on like a terrible like day, like those guys are 3 world champions. Like at some point they're gonna win.
Yeah,
They're gonna win a hardpoint somewhere. Like so yeah, it doesn't even like it's not as exciting. If the streak would have been broken by the actual like team they started with, that would have been really fun.
yeah.
Uh, but I think we all know that had to run its course. But I mean, in general, your thoughts? I mean, what I sit on it is, I mean, like I think like pretty much everybody in the community underwhelmed. Like Priest has not really played well since he won champs. He's basically been performing below what he should be.
Mhm.
Um, Arcity's kind of the same way, really, since Vanguard hasn't, been performing up to the standard that we've seen him set. And then like Pred, this, so far this year obviously has been definitely the worst year of his career.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. This team, it's better, but I still just don't see them making a run at all.
I will say it's the first time though that we can like make an argument that they could be 11th.
That is very true.
Yeah, it's like literally the first time you can make an argument that they can be 11th and actually not be trolling. Like
Hmm.
I will say like the fact that they're able to win 2 hard points against a team like Miami. I mean, they got stomped like that. The Surge series was a speed run. I mean, they got beat down in that series. It wasn't close, and I was like, okay, here we go again. But they won 2 hard points um against Miami, and like the second search was at least competitive. They got like absolutely speed ran in the control, but the second search was at least like a little bit close. Exnid was going off. That was the funny part is during that series, Exnid like damn near was looking like their best player at times, which is really funny.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, if they can clean up the search, I mean, they might be able to win some series off some bottom teams because they were able to take 2 hard points off Miami, which once again, like especially with Super in there, it's not a slouch team. I mean, Super like he kind of went off the series. He had a 1.35, led the lobby.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Next,
they're on the up.
so Brock, we go from your boy Arcitys to another team in 11th that had a roster change. LAG, your other boys, they had one series this weekend. They lost 3-1 uh, to Carolina. I liked their roster moves. I don't necessarily know why these 2 players went here. I feel like they maybe had options for other teams, maybe not, but like Johnny was frying in challengers, and like I think you are with me on this. Like I've always been a fan of Johnny. I think he's a really good player.
Hmm. Yep.
Like I and he played really well in the series. I mean, he had a 1.2, but still the team kind of has like the same issues in a way. Like just a lot of I don't know, like when I look at this team on paper, this is my thoughts on it. I'm like Fellow is probably an upgrade, over what Priesta is right now. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And Johnny, I would say, is a pretty big upgrade over Lynn's, but overall, I'm just like Lunars is he is talented, but he just hasn't shown like a consistent, like, I don't know, a consistent improvement enough for me to be like, okay, this team's gonna get better. And like Fellow is probably an upgrade over what Priest is right now, but it's not like oh my god, Fellow is like this massive upgrade.
Yeah.
And like I do think they're going to continue to improve. And granted, they only played one series, and it was against Ravens, and like the map one was very competitive. They could have won that. The map two went down to around 10. They won the control like very easily on Hacienda, and then they got kind of blown out on a red card hardpoint. But like they're better, but they still don't move me. And I mean, they're not making champs. That's why like Fellow must have not had any other offers
Hmm.
because like he joined a team that has like no hope of making champs. I mean, this LAG team has basically no hope unless they absolutely go off and like get top threes on land and win like every online match. Like they don't have much hope uh, when you look at the standings. And I'm just confused as to why Johnny took this offer as well because I gotta believe like there's maybe one other team that would pick up an SMG. Maybe he just wants to get in the league and show that he can fry so he can get on a team next year. But I don't know. I'm confused. What are your thoughts on this roster?
Strasser, really doesn't. But sure, they're a little better than they have been, when what they were, but still not nothing special. And yeah, but like you said, I'm assuming maybe they did have other offers. and
Yeah.
they just chose to play it for LAG, and like you said, kind of showcase their talent for maybe next year and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like you look at their points right now, like it is an absolute log jam. Like the top 5 teams, I mean, obviously FaZe, Thieves, even Ultra and Carolina are all like locked in. I think they basically are. Vancouver also locked in. And then really 6 through like 10 is an absolute race. Optic with 130, Boston with 120, Miami with 110, Minnesota with 100, all like separated by 10 points in a line. And then Cloud9 with 95 right behind Minnesota in 10th. And then it's a drop to 30 for LAG and 0 for Falcons. Like LAG, like I guess technically, mathematically, they are alive, but they would need to go like 4-1 minimum in both qualifiers. And that would, even that would only get them 80 points, which would put them at 110, which would be tied for 8th right now. So the teams above them would have to win nothing. And then they would probably have to get like a top 3 at both events. Like LAG's not making it. So it's just weird that they joined them.
Hmm. Is
Uh,
the I'm looking at the stands here. Is the Falcons eliminated, or do they still have a sliver of chance?
I mean, like,
Technically,
don't you get like 100 points for winning a tournament or something? So like,
I guess.
I,
Yeah.
like, like, are they eliminated? Yes, but like, in actuality, are they eliminated? Yes, but, like, technically, mathematically speaking, let me look here. There's, like, the how teams earn points thing. So 10 points for so there's they lost this week. There are 2 matches, so they would have 8 matches left, so they could get 80 points from online qualifiers, and, yeah, if you win a tournament, you get 100 points, so technically, Falcons can still get 280 points, which would definitely allow them to make champs.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not gonna happen. They're not gonna win both events and win the last 8 online matches, but, like, no team is technically mathematically eliminated. It's
Okay.
kinda like how in sports when you see, like, the one team needs to win a game and then have, like, 9 other teams win for them 3 straight weeks in a row, it's like they're not technically eliminated, but I mean, they are.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about at the end of the power rankings, before we do our predictions, we'll talk about the race and maybe how we want it to shake out and, like, how we think it'll shake out because this is one of the better races I can remember, like Optic is looking better and they're in 6th. Boston is continuing to fight. They're in 7th. Miami, Super does look to be an upgrade and they're in 8th. Minnesota, Kenny is a certain upgrade there. And like they're in 9th place at 100. Cloud9, stuttered a little bit this week, but they look decent at the major. It's a great race. But this is funny, Brock, because our next team that we have 10th in the power rankings, Miami, another team that made a roster change for you to talk about here. They put in Super for Lucky.
About
I
time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think you're gonna agree with me on that. They took out Falcons 3-2 this week, in their only match, and I think that they definitely could be moving up the power rankings. I'm just basically keeping them where they are for now, because it was a little bit maybe it's bad that they lost 2 hard points to Falcons, but I mean, what I said on the super change was it's about time. I don't even care if they get worse. You have to try it because the way I looked at it, you are not winning with lucky and you never will. So just put
Hmm.
in super. If you get worse, like the way that you can look at it is, well, like, I mean, we tried. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to win anyway. So you might as well at least try it out because super is supposed to be the super young talented dude.
Yeah. Has more upside than Lucky.
Yeah. Like 100% more. Yeah. I mean, he's supposed to be like one of the top challengers players. So why would you not try it out? Is that was basically my thoughts on it. Like, why not try it out?
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, you weren't going to win anyways. If it does work, you end up being a lot better team and you become a contender because Real and Rencor, like those dudes need the best roster around them right now because like you never know. Like sometimes players aren't as good in other games. I think Real and Rencor are going to be good in any game because I think they're really good. But like those two have caught lightning in a bottle in this game and they're an incredible duo. You got to put some players around them that can help them get a win. And Super was really good in the one series he played. He dropped to 1.35 in that Falcons series and played really well. So I hope to continue seeing them move forward.
Yeah. Definitely. And they did, like you said, they did win, so that helps them in the standings.
Yeah. Um, yeah, a crucial win. Like there was some big matches this weekend. A team that had another big match, Cloud9. They're ahead of Miami in our standings right now. They were 3-0'd by Optic in their one match, which I mean, Optic's looking a lot better, and it really wasn't all that competitive of a series. They kind of got rolled. Sib had his worst series we've seen from him in quite some time. I don't expect that to be a common thing.
Hmm.
I think this was just like a situation where Optic were, honeymoon period, Optic are playing really well, and C9 just like had a flat series. I really think that's what it is.
Yeah, I would agree so. Yeah, what they all had 1 point, all positive KDs. Really, all of them
Yeah.
had 1.2s besides Skies.
Yeah, Huke and shottzyy were running him down. And Sky's even like his numbers aren't nuts in the series, but he did play. He played very well.
Yeah,
In the map one especially, he played really well. Um, I I mean for them, I guess I would say like we'll have to see since they only got one match this weekend. We'll have to see if like maybe they're like on like a downward trend, but I expect Sib to pick it back up. And I
hmm
think they'll be fine. I just once again I still question the sub duo. That's why I have them kind of low below our next team, which is I mean they had a controversial weekend. uh they play Toronto, and Toronto is lagging so much and so many issues that Toronto just forfeits the map 3.
that
Uh,
is kind of
yeah,
crazy.
and they're calling out the league because I guess, like, Toronto players are, like, rubber banding. I think, like, it was, like, Joe who said he's, like, rubber banding in the match, and he had his coach stand behind him, record it, and, like, send it to the league, and the league was just like, "Yeah, play through it."
Yeah,
So
that's a tough spot to be in.
and I did people were like, "Well, like, why don't you just, like, play through it? Like, there why would you forfeit a match?" And it's like, well, they were trying to make a statement to the league that, like, "Okay, fine, if you're gonna say to play through this, then, like, we're gonna expose you, like, tweet about it, post about it, and, like, you know, show what you're making us play through isn't acceptable." So, a wild turn of events, but Boston gets the win in that match, which I don't even know how much we can really, if Ultra are literally like, "You're on
See?
the map and can't play," we can't say too much about it, and then they lose, a game 5, round 11 to Minnesota, in which I mean, they Boston definitely could have won that series. They got smoked in both hard points. We're going for the Neslo, and they lost in a round 11, um, to Minnesota, but overall, like, Boston continues to be really competitive, but once again, like, just because they got a win on the board and, like, looked pretty decent at the, tournament, at least beating Thieves, like, we'll put them in 8th for now, but I'm, like, ready really quickly to drop them below Miami and C9 if those 2 teams play well, because I still just think this Boston team ceiling is extremely, extremely capped.
Yeah, I don't really trust him on Lamb.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, granted, they did beat Thieves, but then after that, they lost both matches. Would you agree with me? It's like, I think they can be competitive. Their ceiling is just so capped.
Yeah,
I don't like with too many. They have too many inconsistent players in their team. Really, like Snoopy even has his times where he's a little inconsistent, but the other 3 players in the team are just so inconsistent that it's hard for me to imagine a world where they make like a long run on a weekend because I can't see them sustaining wins.
yeah. I can't see that team having all four of their players just go off at the same time.
No, and if it did, I feel like it happens in like one match. Like the
Yeah,
Thieves match. It happens in like one match where they all play really well, but I don't see it like continuing over the course of 3, 4, 5 matches in a row to win a tournament.
yeah.
Then Brock,
Uh,
the next team in
One more
7th.
thing, I will
Oh,
say, Cammy is 2-0 in forfeits.
yeah, I saw that. Somebody was saying, like, people just get scared of you after map 2 or something. Uh, because wasn't
That,
he the one that called in the streak too against Optic?
yeah, he was.
Yeah.
That was a funny tweet.
The SAE, that's what it was called, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was funny. I forgot who tweeted that. Was that Scump or somebody? Or, like,
Oh
I don't know. It
man,
was somebody. It was some pro. I can't remember, but that was funny. Yeah, like, Cammy, he just people just get scared of him. They forfeit.
I don't blame him, but he's not cold Cammy, so no need to worry.
Yeah, okay. I hear Cold War Cammy, I get war flashbacks. Uh Brock, the next team we gotta talk about, they went to 2 game 5 round 11s. I had a lot to say about this pickup, and I've been proven right through one weekend. We'll see if it continues, but Kenny DeRocker seems to be the match made in heaven.
It does indeed, and we need this team at champs for sure.
Yeah, so I guess like, do you wanna let's talk about that now because I mentioned we could talk about it at the end. But let's just talk about that now. The champs race, we got our 5 teams that are locked in. Unless something crazy happens, there are 5 teams battling for the last 3 spots. It's Optic, it's Boston, it's Miami, it's Minnesota, it's C9. I think the entire world and community is in agreement that we want Optic and Minnesota in
Uh,
because
I would think so.
they're the 2. I mean, Optic obviously, 2 of the 4 defending world champs and Dashy and shottzyy, and then Skies and Huke. Other stable players who have made plenty of deep runs at champs. And then I think we're all in agreement when we say that maybe not Boston, because I think that they're a team that like would settle into the 8th seed and FaZe would just absolutely steamroll them out of the venue.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed.
And I would say for me, for 8th, I'm okay with Miami or C9. I'm okay with either
Yep.
because I think C9 Sib is really good. Attach, I'd like to see him play at another champs. Their subs can be very good. Like I have no problem with either of those two. And then for Miami, it's really like if Super can step it up and Real and Rencor can continue to play the way they are, like they can pull off like a crazy upset. So I want to see in whatever order Optic in Minnesota and then either Miami or C9. Just don't let Boston get in there.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
But anyways, let's talk Minnesota. What do you think? My thoughts basically in the Kenny pickup were like he's been playing terrible this year on Optic, but obviously we know what his ceiling is. We know how elite he can be. And like I love this team just needed a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he can turn it around was my thoughts. I'm like this team needed a veteran really badly for these young players to be able to bounce back. Um, so I just wanted to, I wanted to see Kenny in this team, whether it was Kenny, fellow Arcitys, whoever. Obviously, I wanted Kenny the most, and he played really well against Optic. I mean, the stats show a 0.96, and also Nero had a 0.96. And like I saw somebody comment on the post of like the breaking point, like KDs, and they said Nero had the most 1.3 looking 0.96 of all time, and that was like the best comment because I swear when I saw the stats for this series, I thought that they typed their numbers wrong. 'Cause I swear Nero was cooking, and
Mm-hmm.
then I just, like, looked and he had a .96, which, like I mean, overall, he had good damage, about 12,000 damage. He had a 96 kills, 100 deaths. Like, it's a good series overall. If you know
Yeah.
what Nero's role is, like, he was basically dropping a 1, setting crazy pace, dealing damage. Like, it was a good series, but I swear he had, like, a 1.2 or a 1.3. It was, like, every time they went to his POV, he was popping, like, a crazy three-piece, and then he was
Mm-hmm.
negative on the series. It was kinda funny.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just getting those engagements in.
Yeah, but he played very well. I mean, I mean, it was a game 5 round 11 and both teams overall like played pretty well. And honestly, like Rocker should have closed this series out 3-0 or 3-1 because they trolled both hard points.
Yeah, went up by 50 or 16 both our points.
Yeah, they trolled them completely. And Optic obviously clutched up, and Optic did a good job of like clutching up. Like it wasn't just like Rocker just completely trolling setups and just like losing the map. Like Optic did what they had to do to come back, but Rocker should have been able to close out both hard points. I mean, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to look at the little like breakdown score tracker thing. Yeah, like at one point on the seventh hill, Minnesota was up 166 to 113 in the skyline. And then eventually it gets tied at 183 by Hill 9, and then Optic kind of runs away with it. Actually, no, Minnesota at Hill 11, we're up 230 to 208, and then going to P4 in like the bathroom,
Yep.
Optic just scored 42 straight and beat them 250 to 230. And then in the map 4, where was the swing here? Yeah, on Hill, it was pretty tight, pretty tight. Then Hill 8, Minnesota was up 196 to 137.
Oh
And
yeah, I
then
see that.
yeah, and then they blew it and Optic just went on a run. So, like, Minnesota probably should win the series 3-0 or 3-1. They just trolled hardpoints. I think that's something that's gonna come over time
Yep.
that they'll continue to improve on. And then in the game 5 round 11, it's what do we always talk about? What's our pet peeve? RC cars are useless.
Yeah, I guess I get what he's trying to do, but didn't Hook shot it out.
Something like that, but, like, it RC cars, like, they I know what they're used for, like, they're not really used to get kills, they're used to get info, but, like or get, like, some initial damage on that, like, lower protocol bomb site, like, get some
Yeah.
initial info or get a little damage and then be able to, like, slide in behind it, but, like, how often do we see RC's team like, I bet you there's been more team kills from RCs this year than there's been actual kills. I
Mhm.
know they're more for info or, like, getting initial damage, like I said, but I bet you there's more team kills this year from RCs than there are actual kills. Like, I swear we never see anybody get an actual kill with it.
Yeah. Sure, it's like a good play getting info, but you run the risk of, killing a teammate and, it's just not worth it in the
Yeah,
end.
literally, yeah, costing your team around 11, literally.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess actually, before we get your general thoughts on it, I guess, switching over to the Boston series, they win both hard points in convincing fashion and then win in around 11. And where's the hate? Kenny with a 1.26,
He's back.
second in the lobby in damage. In the map one, 31 and 24. Geo also going off 37 and 25. Everybody was frying in the hard points. Uh, and in the map two, 8 and 6, kill leader on their team for Kenny in that one, and they lose it. They lose the control, and I mean, they all kind of just got cooked in that map, especially Estriel. And then in the map four, Kenny
Mhm.
30 and 15, double positive. And in the map five, Geo was the guy that took it over. So Kenny played really well. Geo played really well. Nero and Estriel didn't have like the best series numbers wise, but they were still, doing their thing in the hard points and helped them win that. I want them to make champs so bad because like I think really like they look strong. They probably should have. I mean, they won both hard points against Boston, and they had the leads and were in position to win the hard points against Optic. And then overall, they looked pretty good in search. Like they were, if not winning searches, they were going the distance in most of their searches.
Mhm.
I really like this team going forward. I think they have a lot of potential. They have a really talented trio that now has an AR with some leadership that, as of right now, is really really shooting well for the first two matches.
Yep. I love to see it. Kenny's kind of rekindled, into being his old self for the most part.
Mhm.
And I'm just excited for this team.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see them play. Um, I really do feel like overall that's the matches are a little more exciting right now because we are seeing all the roster changes that were made. I feel like improvements were made. Like Falcons obviously improved. I think LAG certainly improved. Not saying like they improved to be some amazing team, but I think all these teams got better than they used to be. Falcons, I believe, did. I think LAG did. I think Miami did. I think Minnesota certainly did, and I think Optic certainly did. So every team that made a change improved,
Yep.
which is good to see because it's going to make things just that much more competitive.
Mhm.
Uh,
Most definitely.
Then we got Carolina in sixth. Nothing like major to talk about for them. I mean, they took out uh, LAG and then lost to FaZe. Basically, what we expected them to do this weekend. I guess like it's the same thing for that team. I want to like save time for predictions, so like I don't think there's
Yeah.
too much to talk about with Carolina.
Same stuff, they beat up on they beat up on the lower tier teams, they can't beat FaZe or
Yeah,
Thieves.
but it's like I don't know. I guess the one positive you can take away from this series is they were able to win a Skyline hardpoint against FaZe, and then they were 8 points off from winning a protocol
Mhm.
hardpoint. Like, I mean, they didn't win a round across control or search.
That's a
Uh,
yikes.
but I will say, like, if there's one thing, like Carolina, I know can beat maybe not control against like FaZe and Thieves, but like Carolina, I know they can beat FaZe or anybody in search. Like they can beat anybody in search. We know that.
Yep.
It's more always been like the same thing against thieves. They can't even get 100 points in like any map.
Mhm.
So like it's more of a okay, like they can't beat these teams in hardpoint, and we saw them win one and have a chance to win another one. So I guess that's a positive development from their series.
Yeah. Man, I just thinking about it, I wish this team had Kenny.
Yeah, would be interesting instead of Vivid, but I actually I still think his like I really wanted him on this team, and then this team or Rocker. I think he fits better on Rocker though.
Yeah.
Being a main and having the three like faster players who just run out in front of him and like he can kind of direct the troops. Whereas like on this roster, like he has like the two good subs, but like Slasher kind of clashes and he would have to be the faster AR. I don't know. I think he just like works well. Him and Geo just like work well together. I don't know. I like their fit together.
Yeah. Gio is just he's been putting up numbers.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit in the last stage, but the first two matches this weekend, he played really well. Which Brock, one of the teams they played, Optic, went 2-0. We got them in fifth. I kind of want to
Optic.
roll through because we know after this we kind of know all the teams, so we can just kind of like roll through. We don't have to talk about them too much. It's like the same old for those teams. But
Yeah.
Optic, like I mean, this is the last roster change you have to talk about too. Who coming back in for Pred? I basically framed it like this when I talked about it. I was like, short term, I think it's absolutely a good move, and you can't even argue because I think Huke is better than Pred in this specific game. But I said long term, it's kind of tough because like I feel like Pred probably has more years at a high level left in the
Mhm.
tank than Hook, and like he was kind of like he's good for content and good like I don't know. I think long term it's kind of a tough situation If you're Optic, is like you lose Pred, who was like maybe going to be like a franchise player, and he is really, really good, and probably would you agree has more years left at a top level than Huke? I would think, because Huke's been around for so long.
Yeah, I would definitely think so.
But short term, it's definitely better because Hook fits better on the team in this game. His play style is more suited for this game. And I said, I think Optic were probably thinking more in the short term, which I can't blame them because they couldn't continue to like field their old roster because like they are in serious danger of not making champs. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
and that would be like one of the craziest stories in COD history if Optic didn't make champs. It would
that would
also
be
be
what
like
they.
the death of champs.
Yeah, Optic. Yeah. I just kind of sure they're gonna be a good and better short term and online. I kind of just want to see them on land against these top teams.
Yep, my thoughts exactly. I think online, I said that online, I think they're going to be able to pretty much beat anybody and like consistently finish high in the seeding. But it's been the story of Hook on Optic. Like they've made plenty of finals, lost them. They've bowed out early in tournaments. They've looked incredible online. Even this year alone in stage one, they get a number one seed and they bow out early. Like it's the story of Hook on Optic. Like they look awesome online, but can't translate it to a win on land. So it's like I think Optic are again gonna look like a top five for now, maybe top four eventually, maybe even top three eventually team online. But like until we see them with Hook translated to a win on land, it's tough to like fully trust them. They're gonna be good though.
Yep.
All right. Then I guess our last four teams, Ultra had to forfeit this weekend. Let's just breeze through these teams and get to our predictions because Surge, I mean, they lost to Thieves 3-0, but they still continue to look like a really, really good team. LAT continue to, beat up on people on line 3-0 in Surge, even though they couldn't win against those guys on land and get to a top four finish. Um, and then Phase, I mean, I guess they lost to Toronto in a game five and they beat Carolina, but like once again, like I don't care how Phase looks online until they lose on land. Like they haven't lost on land in like damn near a calendar year.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, we can't possibly try to justify like and say like, oh, maybe we should move Phase down because they lost this weekend and LAT won. Like until further notice, they will be number one.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah,
Brock, I'm
they
pulling up the predictions.
do it.
We got last week I did pretty well. I got 19 points, I think it was. I got like two matches wrong, or maybe one. The last match hasn't updated for some reason, so I have more than 19, but I got two wrong. I looked at my major bracket though, and I had like no points. I really did bad in the major bracket.
The major two.
Yeah, I did horrible. You had to have beat me. I don't remember what I had, but I had like no, almost no points. It was bad.
Man, I like. Is this correct?
What'd you have?
Oh, I had 7 points.
I'm pretty sure I had like four because like I got like every first match wrong, and then it was all just chalked from there. Because then if you don't have the match right, you like can't get points. It's weird.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, I
Like, if
picked.
you don't yeah, if you because like, if your winner didn't move on, then you automatically have the next one wrong, and it's just like a chain, and I'm pretty sure I had, like, FaZe moving through, like, pretty far, and, like I know I think I had LAT going to finals through winners. Yeah, I did, and they got first round. It's like every match on the top side of my bracket was wrong.
Yeah, it was a fluke.
Yeah, basically. Alright, let's make our predictions. Optic versus Miami, first match. What do you 90% Optic. I'm in agreement with the fans, though. I think Optic's gonna 3-1 Miami.
I think Optics gonna 3-0 Miami.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, but I decided to just, be a little more conservative and say 3-1. Don't want to get like too ahead of myself with Optic, but I mean, there's a realistically like for what their standards should be for the current roster now, like they should be 4-0 heading into the last week of qualifiers playing phase. They should be 4-0. They have to beat Miami and
Yep.
Vegas this week.
Yep.
Uh then we got LAG versus Vancouver, the new look LAG. I just don't think that they have enough to beat Vancouver. I'm gonna say like no, I'm gonna say 3-0 actually, Vancouver. I would assume this has got to be like another 93% Vancouver. I'm gonna go with them. I just don't see a world where they don't beat LAG. I mean, maybe LAG gets a map. They are improved, but I mean they've got to win.
Yeah. The last time they played, they got a map, 3-1 fashion.
Yeah, with the worst team.
Yeah. Give me Surge 3-0 here. LAG, find some new players for next year. Wrap it up.
Yeah, maybe keep Johnny or something. I don't know. Still disappointed that this is where Fellow went because I wanted to see him get maybe another crack at champs or something because I don't know how many years he's going to play still, and he just went to a team with no chance of making champs.
Yeah.
All right, Minnesota, Carolina. This is I didn't realize how tough of a split. I mean, Minnesota's in the thick of trying to make champs, and they had an Optic team who's improved, and they went to a Game 5 round 11. Then they had a Boston team that's a solid team, especially online. And then this week they play a good Carolina team and a pretty good Cloud9 team. This is another huge week. Obviously, the Cloud9 win being bigger, so you can hold them down. But like every win is needed for Minnesota at this point. And I wonder, this is probably got to be a pretty, yeah, 59.5% Carolina. I am not in agreement with the fans. I'm going to roll with the Minnesota Rocker boys. Ravens looked a little shaky at times this weekend, and Minnesota went to 2 round 11s and, won, lost one. But I think they're going to get done in a game 5. Again, another game 5 for this roster.
I'm in the same boat as you. Another game 5, getting more reps in with the new squad, and they win another game 5, 3-2.
All right. Then on to Saturday, FaZe Heretics. Yeah, 98.1%. It's going to be a 3-0 for FaZe.
Yeah, FaZe is they're just the Reapers.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we got Optic versus Falcons. I mean,
Revenge for
I was
Pred?
gonna say, I wanna say 3-0, but, is there some weird, Pred revenge factor here where he ends up, finding them a map or 2? I don't think so. I think Optic's gonna 3-0 them.
I guess I'll give Vegas a map win. Not sure which one to make him from, but 3-1 Optic.
Maybe they're just a hardpoint demon team now. Maybe they'll get a hardpoint win.
Yeah, and it's only going like a 10 win streak in hardpoint, still be like
Yeah, they'll go on a
10 and
10-win
28.
streak and yeah, they'll go on a 10-win streak in hardpoint, but then they won't be able to win a search all of a sudden or something.
Yeah.
Uh, then your boys, Brock, LAG playing Boston. I have a bold hot take for this one. I think LAG is going to get their first win with the new squad in a 3-2.
Let's go.
Yeah, your
They got
boys. Are you
they got
gonna
a
pick with it?
they got a 21% chance for fan prediction. I also have LAG game 5 grueler with Boston Breach, and they take it the dub.
Yeah, I just really I like their chances to win the control because Boston is just so bad at control. I like LAG's chances to win that. I think that they can shoot with them in hardpoint. I like their chances to potentially win a hardpoint, and I like their potential prospects to win a surge. I can see LAG winning any of the mix of maps in this series. Um, I just don't have as much faith in Boston like usual, so I'm saying 3-2 LAG.
I like it. Let's lock it in. LG, hopefully don't, go against me now. Every time I pick them to win, they lose. Every time I pick them to lose, they win.
Uh, yeah, that's like the story of your life, basically.
Yeah. Give
All
me
right, then
one.
we got LAT and Cloud9. Sadly, for this day, I think it's another 3-0.
Yeah,
Cloud9 looked rough last week. They got 3-0 by an Optic team that I believe should be worse than Thieves, so I think Thieves steamrolled in also.
agreed there. I also have a 3-0 for the Thieves against Cloud9.
All right, then we move on to Sunday. Another, like we said, crucial match for champs seeding. I think we're getting a fourth game 5 from the Rocker boys with Kenny on the team, and I think they're winning it again. I think they're going to go 3-1 in game 5s with Kenny on the team. 59% of the community on the dot says they like Cloud9, though.
Interesting. I'm not agreeing. I just trust this Rocket team more.
Yeah, it's just so weird because we only saw Cloud9 play the one match and they look so rough. This is another series though. Like Rocker to me, any record this weekend wouldn't shock me for Rocker. If they go 2-0, I won't be surprised. If they go 0-2, I won't be surprised. If they split 1-1, I won't be surprised. Like there's nothing this weekend for Rocker that can surprise me. I guess unless the only thing that would surprise me is if they went 0-2, got smoked, or if they went 2-0 with a 6-0 map count. Those are the only two things. Like if they went 0-6 or 6-0 map count, those are the only two things that would really surprise me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I did pick Minnesota to win 3-1. Not a
Okay.
game 5 for me.
Okay. Then Carolina, Vancouver. This is a really intriguing one too, because like Vancouver definitely is the team that's like ahead in the power rankings right now, but Carolina is that constant team hovering around 5 to 7.
Mhm.
Vancouver just looks too good as of late, though. I got them winning 3-1.
Yeah, yeah, same here, 3-1.
And then,
Vancouver Surge,
yeah,
just what a turnaround.
yeah, it's unbelievable that like I figured at some point it was going to come to an end, but I mean, as of now, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it's coming to an end anytime soon. Looks like they're here to stay as like a top four team, which is yeah, like you said, what a turnaround. Neptune is, I guess he's just that dude.
I guess so, whatever he's doing. The first 2 times didn't work out, but the 3rd time did.
Yeah, third, fourth, whatever it was.
Yeah.
All right. Then the last match, a banger, a rematch of Toronto and LAT. Toronto defeated them on land, but you know the LA onliners, that's what people are calling them. I think they win this one, 3-1. I think Toronto is gonna take the map one, and then Thieves are gonna roll three straight.
I like it. Is Toronto, are they gonna rubber band still?
That's true. If they're gonna be rubber banding, then it might be a 3-0. Maybe they'll forfeit again.
Maybe. I'm gonna pick Thieves 3-0, but I have a feeling that Toronto, like you said, is gonna get a map.
I also just like Thieves are such a tough team to pick against when they're playing anybody that's not like phase because like for them, like what is their record even at right now? It's still similar, but like their record in control is just like their overall record in hard points 31 and 15 and their control is 25 and 6 and even their S&D is 22 and 16. So they're above 500 in every game mode. Like hard points they're winning 2 to every one. So it's like they're such a tough team to have to pick anybody to beat except for FaZe. Obviously, we know we've seen like randomly like Boston beat them on land, but like overall, like
Hmm.
they win 2 hard points to every one they lose. So it's really unlikely that you're going to beat them in 2 hard points in a series. So they're probably going to get a map there. They're 25 and 6 in control, which is by far the best control record. So it's really unlikely you're going to get a map there. They almost have a guarantee in map three. And they're even 22 and 16. So they win more S&Ds than they lose. So like the odds that you either win 2 hard points and find another map. Basically, they have a guaranteed map win in the control usually,
Yep.
and then they basically almost have one guaranteed hardpoint win. So it's like you have to find a way to win a hardpoint and double S&Ds to beat this team. Like the one formula you have.
Yeah, that's just tough to do.
Yeah. Um. So I got him 3-1. You said what'd you say for yours? 3-1.
I gave him 3-0.
Oh, 3-0. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Brock. I don't know. That might be it because I don't know. I don't. I've been doing the grid, but usually I don't want to make like the end like so long and like I don't know, the grid isn't like the best because like if you're not going for like the crazy snipes, it's like it's not like sometimes how like the NFL grid or NBA grid, like there's some
Hmm.
like cool ones like where they have such a database of players. Like a lot of them there's only like three answers. So it's not as it's a good effort by, the creator of it, but I don't know. It's not as fun to do because like a lot of them you can't even go that deep. Like some of them only have one answer. It's not like the NBA where it's like, oh, if the Bucks and 76ers cross, there's like 300 players that have played for both teams. And you can really
Yeah.
like go into your bag. It's not like I don't know. I don't like it as much because of that. It's nothing that the creator did wrong. I mean, he can only work with what you know players have played with, and like I don't know. I just don't like it as much as like NBA because, like I said, you can't go as deep into your bag.
Hmm. Yeah. Agreed.
You got anything else before we wrap this one up, though? I'm glad to have you back. I was telling the viewers, like, I'm in hell doing it by myself. I'm like, can barely take a break for water because I'm just talking, talking, talking. And I'm like, it's not as fun to just sit here and talk to yourself.
Yeah. Excited to be back. Hopefully, watch some more of these matches and see how it plays out. Maybe play some a little bit of ranked play. Maybe.
I
That's
haven't,
about it.
I played like a game or two of ranked with like our friends, like, I don't know, like a week ago. And I was shooting circles because MLB came out and I like playing MLB. So I've been playing a lot of that. I haven't been really playing much ranked. And I was like, I need to shoot some bots or something because it was rough.
Yeah, I played a little bit the other day, and I was like, "Yep, I don't know what's going on, but I can't shoot straight."
I haven't even played the new maps. I mean, I played Dealership Search like when it was in like the testing, period. And
Yeah.
I obviously played like Rewind Search a few times early in the year, but like I haven't played either of them in so long.
Yeah. I'm just like sometimes I'm just kind of hesitant to play because like I already know I'm gonna face a cheater and just get triggered.
Yeah. You get like retroactive SR if they ban somebody or something that you lost against like recently or something like that now. And
Yeah.
apparently like the join back features, and I haven't like seen it at all, but I guess like the join back feature is in or supposed to be in where like you can join within like so many minutes of you like lagging out or whatever, you can like rejoin.
Yeah. That's if that actually is. I actually don't have an idea right now if it is in, but definitely it would be. It's a
Good feature
good
that like
feature.
yeah, most other games have.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. We'll see you next week with somehow the last week of qualifiers for stage 3 already. And we'll probably then, I guess we'll be making predictions for that, maybe updating the power rankings, maybe doing a different segment. And then a week after that, all of a sudden it's major time again. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.